Okay, technology is not my friend this weekend. I can see hasn't been for a few days, so I'm going to try this again. I have chosen, excuse me, to use Ornate Style, this large image. I use this image a lot. I don't use this much, so I decided to try it. And here is our clean and simple card that we're going to make. Now, in the first one, I suggested that we look at a different color. So I decided, since I have to redo this, I'm going to take and redo it with one of the colors I suggested. So you need a card base that's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Oh, Barb, you are so brave. Thank you to try this again with me. All right. And in the last one, I suggested we use Bermuda Bay. So that's what I'm going to use to stamp my image. And I forgot my stamps, so I had to run get those. And I had cleaned them all up. It was like, not good. So, all right, let me clean this off and get them straight. All right, so these will be done with Bermuda Bay, just so you get a different idea. So you take your image and you're going to ink it up. Oops, missed the middle. This pad, I must have used this pad a lot. It probably has a dip in the middle. All right, and then I'm going to stamp it right about there. Aw, thanks. I love my friends. All right, and then I'm going to leave it there for a few seconds. And then I'm going to add my sentiment. Now, with the way things are going, this will turn out crooked, so I have to be very careful. Didn't look like it was inked up. There we go. All right. So, there's the clean and simple card. This time I remembered my other cards. So I decided to try and step it up. So here's the stepped up version. All right, you can see I colored them a couple of flowers in, added some die cuts. So let's make this one. And I remembered this time to do my pieces. I changed my ink. Oh my gosh, it's one of those days. So again, you need your card base and it says Highland Heather. See, totally forgot to change it. This one is Bermuda Bay, so just know that it's supposed to be Bermuda Bay. I am not having a good day. So we have our card base. And the next thing you need is you need a piece of Whisper White that's 4 by 5 1/4. Oh, wrong one. See, I looked at it. And don't pay attention to the scrap. It's supposed to be on the other one. This is not my day. All right, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp my sentiment up at the top. I'm going to go close because if I don't, I won't have space for my image. And then this piece goes on like so. I cannot believe that my phone was using my, oh, hi Sharon, my next door neighbor's internet, not mine. I went over there last night for dinner and I guess it switched and never switched back to mine when I came home. So we have our card base ready. The next thing we need, and I'm going to get a scrap paper here. This is a repeat, Sharon, because I had technical issues this morning. You need a piece of Whisper White that's 2 1/4 by 3 1/2. And we're going to take that same image, I'm going to move that out of the way, and we're going to ink it up. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot to color the other one. I'll have to go back and do that. All right, we're gonna stamp it there. All right, so we've got that. Using our marker, I'm gonna color in the center of this one. I had to go back just because it just needed a little bit of something. So I'm gonna color in these centers on the Clean and Simple. All right, now I can move on to this one. And I'm going to move this out of the way because it's still wet. And I'm going to color in the center of these flowers. And there's not many to do because you're only using part of the image. All right. And then I'm going to let that dry a little bit. This is going to go on the back of here, so I'm going to go ahead and put that on. Now this is my favorite fun foam, craft foam, whatever you want to call it. When I have a big image like that, I use the fun foam on the back because it gives it support all over. Oh, Sharon, if you only knew what is going on. There's my stamp. I'll put that there. All right, now this gets put on the center of that, and then it goes on our card. And I decided to add a little bit of interest with the polka dot tool, so I tied a bow. And I forgot to tell you that I use the Ornate Frames dies to cut that out. And it is the large fancy one from the Ornate Layers dies. All right, so I've got that stuck down enough. All right, now this is going to go on to there. All right, like so. And this piece fits just inside all those cutout dots, like so. All right, this is going to go onto my card base, and when you put it on, make sure that you don't go past your edges or you'll have a problem with it in your envelope. Give that just a few seconds while I add my glue dot to the back of my ribbon, and this side looks better. I add a glue dot to the left of the knot and to the right of the knot. So I use 2 glue dots so that they're kind of sandwiched between there. And I'm going to add my bow. And there's the stepped up version. All right. But I wanted to go further for a wow idea. And that's the one that I did. So I'm going to do some pieces first to get that foam on there. I'm going to take and stamp my image using the same image. All right, there's the top. That's what I want up there. All right, give it a few seconds for the ink to transfer. All right, now that I've got that done, I'm going to take my marker. Let me move this because that pad must be really juicy. I'll have to remember to turn it upside down when I put it away. All right, and color in the centers of my flowers. And then because I wanted something a little extra, I pulled out my Wink of and I used it for the center, oops, I missed one, of my flowers. little tiny one right there, just to give it just a little bit of sparkle, and then it doesn't add dimension. All right, and there's that. I'm going to put this on the back of here. So my glue's not cooperating either. None of my tape is working, none of my glue. Oh, it is just, and I got to make cards for the blog this afternoon and videos. Oh, this could be interesting. All right, I'm going to move that up there. All right, let's get our card together. So your Bermuda Bay cardstock's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, and then I took and cut 3/4 of an inch off of the front so that I could have just a little bit of a interest on the card front. That meant that this piece had to be 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. And I wanted even more interest, so I took and embossed it using the Ornate Floral embossing folder. All right, and then this has to go on with my tear-in tape because it's embossed, and I want to make sure that it sticks. So I'm going to add my tear-in tape all the way around. So what do you think, ladies? I did the purple and the Bermuda Bay since I suggested. Do you have a preference for which color you like better? Or is it just doesn't really matter? I don't know if I have a preference. It may not matter to me. Sometimes some colors look better than the others, but all right, burnish my ends. I'll pull my backing off. All the way around. Well, see, this one didn't get burnished down good. It's not, the tape was coming up also. All right. Okay, and I'm going to put this down on the front like so. All right. Now I'm going to run back to this and I'm going to add some glue. Oh, you prefer the Bermuda Bay? I don't know if I have a preference. Like I said, it doesn't seem to make a difference. Now when I get it all finished, it might. All right, I'm going to put that up there with my block on it so that, oops, I moved it. Good thing that glue hadn't grabbed hold yet. Very carefully. All right, now let's work on our sentiment. I had stamped it and punched it out, but what I found, and I'll show you when I did it, it didn't, and I'm gonna cheat a little since I know I'm gonna, when you put it on here, it's just kind of lost. You don't pay a whole lot of attention to it. So if you punch it out and punch it close to one end and then put it in and flip it back around and get a smaller version, and then take your Bermuda Bay and punch out a full size, then you can take and add, ooh, I think I might have too much there now. Where's my scrap paper? I'll put it on that, take some of it off. That'll help. And then you're going to put this on. And the sides are even, but the two ends are, you'll have a little bit of Bermuda Bay showing through. And then we're going to add some dimensionals to the back. I'm going to take my backs off. All right. Okay. And I'm going to put this right at the very top. And just adding that little bit draws your eye to the sentiment. And now we're going to put our piece on the front, but you have to be careful when you do this because you can't go past the edges, and you don't want to put tape here so that it sticks down. So what I did was I just counted my dots over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dots over, and then I was okay. So I'm going to take my tear and tape, real technical here, and I'm going to count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to put my piece of tear and tape on. Yeah, if you put tear and tape here, it's going to stick to the back of your card. And that won't be good. Put the last piece on. Burnish my ends. Can you imagine trying to pick this off with your fingernails? That's why I use the pokey tool. It's really hard to use your fingernails. So I use the pokey tool, and it's perfect. All right, now when you put this on, remember, watch your edge and your bottom. You don't want to go past there or it won't fit in your envelope. And there's our stepped up wow. So we went from clean and simple, oops, stepped up, forgot my bow, let me add my bow, to the stepped up wow card. And now you can see the whole thing from beginning to end, even with a few mistakes this time. So I appreciate your coming back in and sticking around with me. I will be posting this to the page so that you can see it. And I hope I see you Monday at noon for Lunchtime with Robbie. Have a great day.